Hello, guys. Happy national season. So, it's been a long time since I have posted a Dogmatika deck, and I would like to make this video more not just of a deck profile, but also talking about my thought process of preparing for the national season. So, I would like to not only go over this deck, but also my other contender slightly, and why I am choosing to not play it for a national season. Uh, so, my actual contender for this entire format was specifically the good old meta deck, Voiceless Voice. Um, why would I choose to not run a meta deck and rather run my good old rogue pile of Dogmatika branded? So, I've been testing this deck excessively. I've been playing at around 3 locals per week, and trying my best to get this deck to work, specifically trying the pure version, but also, of course, the branded version. And in in theory, this deck is excellent. Like, as in, you have 1 card starters, you have protection from imperm technically. Your monster is untargetable and omni negates, and your opponent can only attack him, and you can play a lot of hand traps. Uh, there are a couple issues with the deck though that turn me off, and I've noticed this in my testing, which was, to put it bluntly, abysmal, like really, really, really bad. Um, so the first thing about this deck is you may have 9 1-card starters, being 3 barrier, 3 diviner, and 3 low. But the thing is, diviner itself is very vulnerable to hand traps, and you cannot always rely on having access to Zaravis, because some people play draw, not too many, but mainly people play a lot of imperms, and you only have access to 2 Saravis, and you often have to use the Saphira search for Skull Guardian specifically to get into your engine. Uh, and the thing is, if your Diviner gets impermed, if your the only way you can play further is activate Prayer's Tribute, level 5 or higher monster, or low in your hand, and Diviner to actually play your combo. And due to how ritual spells work, you cannot tribute level 7 or higher monsters for this, because you would overkill on the requirements. So you would have to specifically tribute Saphira or 2 hand traps to continue to combo and get access to Skull Guardian as well as low. Skull Guardian only searches low and doesn't search the spells and traps, which is very unfortunate, because it can mean that you end your board on a blank Skull Guardian, and that's it, which is pretty damn rough. The second thing is, because the stack uh, only has this one trick it can do, and maybe if you play the branded version, has the ability to summon a Mirror Jade, or I don't know, Jogan, if you feel specifically Floodgatey today. Um, you are very limited in how much your engine can actually take out. The main reason why this deck plays well through hand traps is because barrier exists. Barrier itself, like, threatens if you get hand trapped to death, and you have a lot of hand traps in your hand yourself, which is the main goal of the deck. The main goal of the deck is sit on Skull Guardian, maybe a Saravis on field, and hopefully 2 to 3 hand traps, and then just win. Or optimally, a hand trap and a floodgate to guarantee that you win. Um, but he, that doesn't usually happen. Like, if you open too much engine, you don't open the non-engine that you need to survive, because Scholar Guardian on paper with like the targeting protection with the floating off of prayers seems like a good deck, but in reality, it's broken by almost every meta and rogue deck in the format except for Voiceless Voice itself, and that makes things kind of rough. Of course, there are ways how to not break a Voiceless Voice deck, like for example, super polying them. But usually, the good players know what they're doing when they resolve cards like Super Poly, when they choose their board breakers or hand traps, and where they hand trap the stack. And the second thing, like if you have like only one starter and four hand traps, it gets into a game state that I really do not enjoy to play, which is the who tops deck engine first. Top decks his engine first and gets to play through all of the hand traps, making it basically RNG on who gets to win the game. And I dislike RNG as much as I like this game. And the last thing, what I hate about this deck, is you have six cards you don't really want to draw. You don't really want to draw Blessing because if you draw double Blessing, Saphir is not activatable unless you play another ritual spell. You don't want to draw two Soravas because he doesn't do much in sense of getting you into engine, and you don't want to draw Radiance or Soravis, and technically you don't want to draw Trias unless you open specifically Diviner. And that makes your hands have like seven cards in your like nine one-card starters that feel very rough to open, and I really dislike that ratio, and especially in a hand trap deck that wants to be as card efficient as possible and simplify the game state. Those are the main reasons why I have bindered Voiceless Voice for the national season, and why I'm choosing to play my good old pile of Dogmatika branded. So let's get into the actual deck profile because I know you've been missing this. But before we do that, shout out to Team Azrael. I am a member of that team, and they've helped me a lot with testing my decks, giving me mental encouragements, and yeah, theory crafting the format. And it has improved me as a player quite a little bit, even though I have still a lot to learn. And also, shout out to Fantasyfreak for being our team sponsor. Um, if you want to buy cards for a relatively cheap price and reliable shipping, especially if you're in Germany, um, you can use the code Azrael5 for 5% off on their website to purchase some cards. And yeah, and also if you want to watch some more meta content, Team Azrael has a lot of content in German, simply because I'm German. Ich bin Deutsch. That may appeal to you, and it will educate you a lot on the format and new decks. So let's get into those. For our engine, we're playing 3 ritual monsters, so 1 less than voiceless. Sadly, all of them are kind of bricky. 1 white knight, 1 white relic, and 1 albazoa. You're playing these 2 to OTK. This is our win condition because we are going for the extra deck loop, and this ensures that Tenpai cannot OTK you because you're gonna loop 2 cards from Tenpai's extra deck. After you resolve this, you have 1 time in your turn where you can look at their extra deck, and 1 time on their turn with White Knight, which then robs them usually of both Transcend Dragions, and without Transcend Dragion, they cannot really OTK you. So this is for the Ritual Monsters. Actual engine, self-explanatory. Self-explanatory because we need more interruptions in this deck, and we want to loop as many extra deck cards as possible, so we decided to play Maximus because apparently this format we do not get punished for playing Maximus. So we do that. And yeah, this is just one of the first formats where we don't get punished for doing the extra deck loopy shenanigans, so it's quite optimal. Then for our best cards in the deck, Dogmatika Matrix, the Nadir Servant of Going Second, and the Nadir Servant of Nadir Servant. excellent cards. If you see this card, you're in pretty good situation unless you play against Flunder or Kashtira, or sometimes Tenpai, and they dimensional shifter you, and you have to pass because floodgates. Yay. Um, Dogmatika Lamity and 2 Macabre. You have to sadly play 3 ritual spell. I've tried playing 2, but it makes all of your lines very, very awkward. And sometimes you just lose because you only have 2 ritual spell in your deck, and you use both turn 1, and you cannot recover your ritual engine. Then, last Dogmatica card, Punishment. Good old trusty punishment. You need it for situations that are off of regular theory. You just need it to out floodgates, to out problematic monsters, to get you back into engine. It's very, very flexible. It's basically the jack of all trades in the deck, and the master of popping cards, I guess. Uh, the Albaz fusion engine. Uh, 2 Albaz. Yeah, you need them. Cartesio. Great cards. You can get into it with the Dogmatica engine because Lulu Valilith is a card. And we also played 3 Brand of Fusion and new addition to the deck, 2 Fusion Deployment. This card is performing so crazy I cannot even believe it. First of all, you going second, you have the option to go for Albaz and threaten the board, which is very good. We like cards that go at least 1 for 1 and threaten interaction. It helps us a lot resolving our matrix stun. Um, Branded Fusion, of course, helps good too. But mainly the use for it is to summon Cartesia to guarantee us that we have at least 1 extra deck monster on the board afterwards, which is very good if we play against Flu, because then we can resolve Fleur de Lis. And Fleur de Lis is really good against Flu for some reason, if you can resolve it at least. Um, and yeah, that rounds up all the engine. And the coolest part about fusion deployment is that it's a normal spell, so it is searchable off of a certain little card that our deck loves to play. And to supplement that certain card our deck loves to play, 3 Gen and 1 Ken. These can be fusion summoned with when you open fusion deployment Cartesia, or if you have a way to get Albaz on field or in graveyard and special summon Cartesia. And then you have a really solid way to enter your engine. And also they give your opponent a monster so you can resolve Dogmatica Matrix for its full effect and basically win the game. Then 4 funny cards that do 3 things. 3 Thrust, 1 Tactics Talent. This card gets you to 90% of your engine and a couple of your board breakers, as well as, of course, this card. And this card draws too. We love Pot of Greed. You have to play this card if you're playing the stack. There's no way around it. This card is better in this deck than it's even in Sky Striker. Another card you can search, of course, is Triple Ultimate Slayer, which is quite good this format, unless you play against Pearly with our extra deck. If you manage to somehow find 1 extra deck slot, it's maybe possible that you don't have to play with that you can use it against Pearly maybe, but even then, usually Pearly cards are unaffected. Um, Triple Droplet, we hate to be puppet locked, so we play Droplet, and we do not want to play Ash because Snake Eye just summons Ash back and kills us. So Droplet is nice, and also Droplet is nice against Tenpai. Last 3 cards. The only hand trap in our deck is Imperm because you literally cannot do anything wrong with playing Imperm, unless your deck says you cannot activate trap cards for some reason. Side deck. I'll keep the spice for last. The most vanilla cards, Cosmic Cyclone. We want to out floodgates, and since we are able to also search this card, we play 3 triple tactics, evenly matched. So yeah, evenly matched is pretty decent because we can simplify the board state. Because this format taught if something this band list taught us something is it's that floodgates are good, so we placed 6 of them. This of course being searchable by a thrust, so why not? And skill drain in general, the thought about this is Albazoa big, Albazoa punch, and we can out this card. And now for the spiciest card in the side deck. 1, 2, 3 Golden Lords. This card is accessible not only by hard drawing it, but you can also send it via Brand Fusion, or you can add it, also send it via Granguinol by summoning Cartesia off of Fusion Deployment. And we have a lot of spell cards in our deck, so we can consistently add this back and use this as Send, which is really good against Runic Stun. So I would probably side this against Runic Stun or generally Runic decks. And this is also a 3/5 body that we can copy with Cartesia with the White Relic. So we get to 7/5 attack just by summoning those and summoning White Relic, which is 500 damage off of OTK, and 500 damage is easily found in this deck. Uh, we are still working on the side deck, though. I don't know if we don't do need that many floodgates, but sometimes this deck just cannot do its full combo because your opponent doesn't control a monster. And then you just like normal summon Ecclesia, set a punishment, and hope that your imperms and droplets are enough. Good. Before I present to you my deck again, let's go over the final part. Mirror Jade, Albion, 2 Titaniclads. You summon Titaniclad sometimes. It's pretty funny because it gets big. This thing can have up to 1600 boost, which makes this thing 4100 attack, and you can copy that attack, which is funny. So you get an 8600 OTK with this sometimes. Albazoa is nice that it's a level 12. Granguinol, because we play Cartesia. Garura, because we play Granguinol and we play Ultimate Slayer and we play Dogmatika. And Entus, because we like to out things with our engine. For our Link monsters, we're playing 1 Almirage because if our Gen gets impermed, we have to do something about that. Or if we don't draw cool engine cards. Tri-Brigade Bullcephalus 2 because we want a nice Slayer's target, but this is maybe cuttable. 2 Herald of the Arclight. 1 Malong because we need an interruption that we can do with Granguinol if we summon Granguinol on our opponent's turn. 1 Psyframe Lord Omega to recycle our engine. And 1 Despian Lulu Valilith because we like quarter century cards and starlights. No, actually, this card is insane because it summons Cartesia from our deck if we ritual summon our Albazoa. So we at least always end on 1 interruption with our with the Albazoa line. If we literally just summon Albazoa off of Calamity and like have like 3 cards that do nothing. All in all, uh, like this deck feels way better to play than Voiceless because it is a more explosive. Uh, like it doesn't have the hand trap thing. It doesn't have the control aspect that Voiceless Voice has, but instead you just get to play into boards way better because your deck synergizes way better with playing actual board breakers. And the abuse of Ultimate Slayer, Triple Tactics Thrust, Nadir's Servant, Branded Fusion, all of these cards are super duper powerful and force your opponent to interact with it in some way. The unfortunate thing is that this deck has a severe weakness to Dimensional Shifter and Anti-Spell, but I'm going to accept that because like even Voiceless Voice often cannot play under Shifter, even if you like even if you open like a hand that can't play through Shifter, a simple board breaker then ends your day because you don't have Ritual Spell in Graveyard. Well, this is probably going to be my Nationals deck, but this is perhaps not final. Specifically, the side deck needs work, And also, I should mention that the main deck is currently 44 cards as far as I'm aware, uh, which is quite a bit, but I think because we are playing so many extra engine supplements, it should handle itself. And also, by playing over 40, we kind of downgrade the threat of us opening way too many bricks, because this deck technically plays more bricks than Voiceless, but we also have more starters and more ways to do threatening things to your opponent's board. So this is probably my Nationals deck. I'm going to go to the Austrian Nationals, which is, as far as I remember, next weekend. And yeah, I'm looking forward to how this deck performs. Let's see if this deck frustrates me so much that I binder it again and play Voiceless again. Um, anyways, if you want, feel free to let me know anything about your road to preparing for nationals. And I wish you best of luck partaking there and perhaps topping. I hope this video gave you a lot of insight. As said, if you want to see more content that is more meta, check us out at Team Azrael on YouTube. And if you need cards and are specifically located in Europe, uh, Fantasyfreak .de has good deals for you, especially with the code Azrael5 for 5% off. See you guys.